Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 8th day of January 2025. It is Wednesday after Epiphany. It is the 15th day of the Christmas season, and we have just gotten done celebrating community Mass with the Franciscan School, our first Mass back from break, also our first Christmas, or our only Christmas Mass that we'll have together as the Franciscan School, since, again, we left before Christmas began, and we come back now at the tail end of Christmas. Still 4 days of Christmas to celebrate, and so don't forget to do that. So our nativity scene, the same nativity scene, right over there in front of our altar, as well as the kings who have arrived this past Sunday there. So with all of that is still in motion, we are continuing to celebrate Christmas, and so don't forget to continue to celebrate Christmas for more days until Sunday the 12th. So our readings today on this Wednesday after Epiphany, on this 15th day of Christmas, the first letter of John basically talks about God as love. And again, to remain in God remains in love, love remains in you, God remains in you, you remain in God, all this back and forth. The important thing about this part of the letter, though, is where it talks about those who are unable to experience love, or unable to feel love, or unable to express love, not just experience it, but express it. It is because of fear. And so it's a very interesting kind of understanding about our human life and our human situation, our human condition, that what gets in the way of us being able to love is fear. And the idea is to get beyond our fears enables us to be open to more and more what the power of love is in our lives, and how the power of love can work in our lives, and how it can operate within our lives. And so do not fear, love instead. Do not fear, allow love to grow in your heart. Do not fear, allow love to show you ways and things and understandings that that may not be possible for you, because you allow fear to rule hearts. It's the reason perhaps why people refuse to believe at all that any of this could be true, or that any of this has any value or worth in what we celebrate at Christmas. It's because they allow fear, to get in the way. Fear that it's too good to be true. Fear that it could last. Fear that it's even possible. That these kinds of things we are meant to overcome. And again, this Christmas season reminds us, again, as believers in the world, what we are called to witness to, and how we are called to witness in this world. Not by control, not by power, not by domination, but by love, always by love. It does connect, again, with the Gospel from Mark today, which follows on Jesus' feeding of the 5,000 yesterday, in that it is... It's the gospel about the apostles going to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, and a storm comes up on all of a sudden, and the boat is being rocked and everything else like that, and Jesus basically comes to them walking on the water. There is in Mark no Peter getting out of the boat to walk on water with Jesus. That's only in Matthew's gospel, trying to show how important Peter is, or how powerful Peter is. Mark doesn't really care about that, and so he doesn't really come into play. But the idea is that, again, this boat that is rocking, the apostles see Jesus coming. They think he's a ghost. They are afraid, and even when he stills the waters, basically they can't understand this, and they basically don't want to believe that this actually happened, or that it's true. And again, this is where fear gets in the way of being able to see clearly what it is that Christ is doing. Fear gets in the way of understanding where it is that Christ is at work in our lives. Again, fear wants to eliminate Christ from our lives. Fear is what will rule the life of Herod, and trying to destroy anyone who is seen as a usurper to his throne, and again, the massacre of the innocents happens because of it. This kind of fear puts Jesus to death. This kind of fear tries to blot out the Gospels, and yet in all of the rockiness that we experience perhaps in our lives as believers, the backs and forths, the ups and downs that faith can draw us into, it is Christ who constantly tries to lead, constantly tries to show us that he is in that boat with us. He is walking alongside us. He is helping to still the roaring of the seas and all the tumults and everything else that gets in the way of us trying to be, again, witnesses to love, witnesses to hope, witnesses to all of those things that are not just intangibles and fantasy that this season celebrates, but are the truth and reality of who and what we are as human beings. A continued blessed season, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.